the better strategy. And by better, I mean BETR. It's a Vanguard white paper available now that talks about Roth conversions. But let's talk about what smart investors are doing with taxes. There's a strategy being talked about more in financial circles right now that most people don't even understand. And it's not compounding interest because that's another one, but it can make a huge difference over time. When I first started hearing about Roth conversions and tax strategies, it felt so complicated. And I thought, I'm just saving. And while you're working, and in those years that you can use deductions, your 401k plan at work, especially if you're getting the match, just go in traditional if you can, because that tax savings allows more money to grow and compound over time. But when I started hearing about Roth conversions, I knew that I might need to do some, but it felt too complicated, like something only really wealthy people did. But it's actually simpler than people think. Firms like Vanguard Group have emphasized that tax efficient withdrawal strategies, including Roth conversions, can significantly improve retirement outcomes over time. It's a simple key, and here's the idea: pay some tax now so you don't pay more later. That's it. That's the foundation. Now, many people will fight on you and they'll say, well, I'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. Maybe. Maybe you will be. Maybe you won't. How do we know what the government's going to do because of all the debt that the government is in? And if they will raise taxes, were much higher earlier in my life even. So taxes can certainly raise above what they are now. The other part of it is if you're a married couple and one of you dies before the other, then that puts you in a different tax bracket, losing some of your credits. And then third, if you're lucky enough to turn 73 for some, but 75 years old for those born 1960 or after, then you're going to start taking RMDs, which are required minimum distributions from your pre-tax accounts. And some of these accounts can be a lot more money than you need. So then you're stuck taking a lot more money and it might put you into a higher tax bracket. But for you, it's all individual cases. And I would talk to my financial advisor about that so that you can find out what RMDs would be for you. As retirement accounts grow, required withdrawals and tax exposure can increase, which is why tax diversification is becoming more important than ever in planning. Here's 3 moves for you. Learn the concepts, understand it, read until you get it, because understanding the concepts will put you one step ahead of other people when you go in and talk to your financial advisor. Move number 2, ask your advisor, and they should be able to explain it to you in common terms if you can't get it from reading articles and papers on it. Move number 3, don't ignore taxes and planning because they can creep up on you, and then you are wondering why 2 years from what you did is happening, and it affects your Medicare costs and just different things like that. So you want to be aware of it and not ignore taxes and just assume that Uncle Sam's going to take what is rightfully his when you could have maybe changed what is rightfully his earlier in life. You don't need to master this today, but understanding it is priceless. That's a powerful move. And if you want to understand these terms and more, and you want to get your head around finances, maybe pivot and think differently, join me on this channel, Alan Money Talks. Subscribe. It costs you nothing to subscribe. Let's work on this together and get our mindset different about money where it's not overwhelming to us and we get peace with a capital P. Have a great day.